So if we are going to plot the total and marginal utility of Lisa from consuming ice cream, this is what it's going to look like. So let's start off with the total now. Total utility of Lisa. So all you have to do is plot this and this. So this is how it looks like. Now this one represents the um, horizontal axis represents, or we will measure the number of ice cream cones Lisa consumes each week, and on the vertical axis will measure the utility she derives from consuming each of the cones. So if Lisa values ice cream cones, her utility will increase as she acquires more of them, as it does in this figure, diba? So uh, looking at this, we can see that from one cone, she enjoys 30 utils, diba? So, and when she has two cones, her total utility grows to 50 utils. And so on. Kutob ni abot si Jaog. The last cone. Okay? So, throughout the figure, the total utility Lisa derives from consuming ice cream cones keeps rising as she gets to consume more and more of them. So, that is the law of total utility. As you consume a good and services, your total utility rises. No? Magtika rise po imong utility because ay imong satisfaction nagtikaan na mampud og kapuno until such time that you would reach a point wherein additional consumption of a good, in this example of an ice cream, will no longer satisfy Lisa because she is already fully satisfied. Sumo na atong tan-awon nga ato na pong tan-awon ang marginal utility ni Lisa asa taman nga di na siya satisfied because she is already fully satisfied. So, this is how it's going to look now. So, mo na siya ang marginal utility ni Lisa. So, as did you notice something interesting and which is very important? No, although Lisa's utility, the total utility of Lisa increases every time she consumes more ice cream, the additional utility she derives from each successive cone gets smaller and smaller as she gets more cones. Now, we call the change in utility derived from consuming an additional unit of good the marginal utility of that additional unit. So, tan-aw ni mo dira nga from 30 di ba baliktad dire. Di ba? Marginal utility falls as more cones are consumed because you are now satisfied. Now, you will reach a time wherein consuming a good or an ice cream will no longer satisfy you. What na effect? Sumo na ni siya nga ni abot siya og zero kani. Going back to the tabulated total and marginal utility. So, di ba, from 30, so, pag-add ni siya og additional cone, ning ubos og 20 insang utility. Tungod kay, nasatisfied naman siya even at one cone. Di lang man siya pa fully satisfied. So, ning-add siya 20, and then ning-add pa siya laing cone. So, 10 na naman ang satisfaction na siya nakuha until such time nga ning 5, ning 3, and at 6 cones, wa na gayud si Jai mabati nga satisfaction because she is already fully satisfied. So, if you are going to look at the law of diminishing marginal utility, so ang ija is sloping downward. What we observe about Lisa's utility can be restated this way. As she eats more and more ice cream cones in a given week, her marginal utility from another cone declines. Now, we call this the law of diminishing marginal utility, which of course, the great economist Alfred Marshall defines. In the next slide, we will see the definition of this marginal utility. What I am saying is that this graph or this method is useful. No, it is a useful tool in order to predict, no, how much of a good or services thus one particular consumer can consume until such time that he is fully satisfied. So if you are the businessman, ayaw baligya si Lisa og pito ka ice cream cone. Nga naman, technically, malugi juga sa usa. Di naman na siya paliton because di na siya mo consume og another ice cream cone because she is fully satisfied at 6 cones. So, bisan pag may kakarog, hala, ikaw ra ba dyan untay hong gipalitan aning pito ka ice cream cone? Kaya ikaw ra may akong kanang buyer sa ice cream. So, dihang lapitan, nalugi na ka sa usa. Tungod kay nagpataka ka, wa ni mo gi-measure. Wa ka ning gamit sa law of diminishing marginal utility to predict how much, no, aside from the budget of course, so how much of a goods or how much ice cream can Lisa consume. So, mo na usa sa aspect ha. But of course, do not forget the budget line. As I have said, these are factors that affect the consumer choice. And you have to be familiar with this. Okay. Ning sud man mo business, 'di ba? So you have to be familiar. Dapat knowledgeable mo when it comes to this. So you do not just measure yung kakaron, maninda kong ingani kay moy in. That is a very wrong concept in business. Moy in, moy uso. No, lagi uso. But have you analyzed, no? When you conduct your feasibility study, you have to analyze, no, considering several factors, especially when it comes to consumer options or choices, no? And that is very important. So with this, na kay guide. Kay baw na ka og pila ra ka ice cream cone nang imong ibaligya ni Lisa nga di ka malugi, nga di ka mabalikan. So, of course, if I am the seller, di ko mabaligya ni Lisa og pito. Kaya di naman isa mo palit sa usa, unom ro di siyang paliton. Okay? Sometimes, so that is the importance of measuring the diminishing marginal utility of a consumer. Okay? Okay, so this is how Alfred Marshall has defined the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, he said that the marginal utility of a thing, the marginal utility of a thing to anyone diminishes with every increase in the amount of it he already has. That is because, as I have said before, in every increase of consumption of a good or service, our satisfaction lessens. So, magtikaubos na atong satisfaction because we are already satisfied. Okay? So that's it. That's the we only have two top approaches discussed today for this video: the budget line and the marginal utility. On the second part, I will be discussing the indifference curve and kadtong usa ka approach pa. So I will be making part 2, vlogger, part 2 of this video soon. So I will be uploading. Okay. So of course, man, you still have an remaining activity. Okay, so for your activity 3, so marginal and total utility. Now, suppose you are giving this following data. Now, utility derived from drinking water after jogging 4 miles. So here is the amount consumed, and this is the total utility. What you're going to do is, of course, number 1, compute the marginal utility. kini, you have to compute this. And then number 2, plot the utility the total ha. Plot the total utility. And of course, you have to explain nganong inga nagporma. And number 3, you have to plot the marginal utility. And of course, you have to explain nganong inga naog porma. Okay? So that's it. That ends our topic for today. And also, I have several reminders for you with respect to your submission of output. I will no longer allow submissions in Messenger kay nag-cram up na jud akong Messenger. Now, ano ra ba mo nga maura joy inyong ma-access? But then again, I was so disappointed because somebody has submitted to me a picture of their output nalabihan gajud kaadjong ka-blurred. Ginoo mamatay gajud ko sa ka-blurred. Mamatay kog figure out ug unsay nakasuwat didto sa picture because madyo pa sigurong kanang China phone kay tin-aw pa. Adyo pud mo pag-ingana falehog. When I said let us meet halfway pod di kay 1/4 ra inyong effort. Mabag kapuyas pud aning submitan tag ingani. Uy, murag hoy Diyos ko. Murag lami jud i-wild. Murag lami jud kanang diliton ang gisubmit. Uy ka why kwenta mabasa day na ho. 'Di ba? So what you're going to do is I will say tawag ana kanang create a link in Moodle for your submission. And mag-Moodle sad ta because of course we will have a deadline of submission. So madyo man sa Moodle kay kung mo beyond na mo sa deadline, di naman mo makasubmit. So I will know technically kung kinsa tong mga late nga mo submit. Of course, I will still accept your late submission kay basig magtubok nuwa mo og dili. But of course, it wears a different grading system kay unfair pod sa uban nga naning kamot nga makasubmit online. But I mean online ka na on time. But I will still of course accept your late submission. So mo nang gitujo na ako sa Moodle kay sa Moodle naaman didtoy kanang nga anak kanang restriction. So kadtong tuwa sa Moodle tanan, of course mo toy kanang on time nga submit. Ang kadtong mo submit naho sa Gmail or sa chat, automatic na nga mga late to sila nga mga submission. So this is what you're going to do. I will only accept format in PDF. Di na ko musugot nga ng picture kay as promise makamatay gajud siya di sa ingon pag overacting or something makamatay. Imagine na lamang pud ha kamo ra gani nga klase pila na mo kabuok and I have 10 subjects. So tagaan ko nimo giingana ka basura nga output. So pagtuon man ho basurahan ay umayos tayo ha. So I have done my part. I have sana understand your situation as well. So I hope you would also understand mine. So di taon lalim oy sig lugat na na atong mata para basahon na inyong mga output nga simbako pud kaadyo ka ambot laman. So naa daw kanang say nga na so, app kanang cam scanner murag cam scanner. So naa daw ing ana nga app. So pwede na siya for your drawings like graph nga ay. Kay ba kung maglisod mo draw og graph sa kanang application like WPS or even in kanang ay Microsoft Word lisod man jud na siya. So mudawat ko og written ana. But you have to make sure nga mogamit mo og cam scanner sa pagpicture ninyo sa inyong papel nga gidrawingan sa graph kay para tin-aw taon siya. Asyo in taon ko taga og kanang ay klaro pang medyo pang Milo. Kay makakita pa ko umigas nga naglutaw-lutaw kaysa inyong output nga gi-submit no nga picture nga Hesus naglibog unsa man ni litera or linya napay agi nga di na lamang ko mo comment sa agi kay labaw pug kong niladog agi. But how am I going to read penmanships that are unreadable, 'di ba? So instead nga naunta mo'y points kay sakto din yung tubag nawa, uy, unfair pud mo kog taga na laman dako nga points kay di man ako mabasa, nalabad na gajud. So that's it. So dapat should be in PDF form. So pwede ninyo picturean ang inyong drawing and then attach it to the document and then convert it into PDF. Mamo man may laptop. O di WPS sa phone ang inyong gamito, hindi day pwede. Nga malagi ang uban nga nakasubmit man og ingana. Ba? So mo na siya. So your output should be submitted in Moodle. I will create a link later. Di pa mapod mo maghimo share na maghimo. So later na lang or ug makalimot ko, please remind me. Kabaw dyan nang daghang taghuna-huna. Okay? So i-remind ko mamo pay submission link sa kuan kanang Moodle. Okay? Okay, so for further questions, clarifications, violent reaction, so you can always bring me up in Messenger or you can send me an email in my email. Oh my god. I'm so out of this world, kids. I'm so tired. It's more 4 subjects that hong record karon. So that's it. Mo lagi to. So, annyeong kids. Have a great time.